It's evening now. Birds are twittering, getting ready to go to bed. Got some Hawaiian music in the background. It's the island across the way over there. Some more of the grounds of the place where we're staying, which is called the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel. People taking the sunset, and I guess they're happy with the sunset there. Finished up with the photos.
Oi, what's the camera?
Oh no.
Why?
I want to look at it.
Make me the cook. Huh? What?
Well,
The baby coconut? Okay.
We're at around 6,000 feet, just a little bit more than halfway up Mount Haleakala, just below the cloud level. We'll be going up into the clouds in a few minutes, so we wanted to get some pictures down and out there. That's looking out toward Ka'anapali Beach area on Maui. You can see some of the cars winding their way up here. There's the mountain down on the far end down there is one of the most rainy parts in the world. And there's a area in between there with land. And then it goes to the ocean again over on the north side of Maui.
oh my god, Dad.
Going past is a whole bunch of bikers down the mountain. They go down and cruise. Usually have a leader and then a bunch of bikers, and then what I would call a crash truck behind them with some extra bikes and parts and bags and lunches and all the rest of that type of stuff. There goes the crash truck behind him there. It also warns the people behind him what's going on. We're at Lai'ewe Overlook. It's at around 9,000 feet. This direction we're looking is generally north. We're above some of the clouds now. Just about inside the other ones when they come roaring across here. You can see some of the road down below. Cars coming up. The road is decent. It's steep, but it's decent. We're up into the growth and things around here are alpine. No trees. Gene's using the Gushwan squint. Okay, we're at the Lure Observatory, which is run by the University of Hawaii. Looking at the output end and the reflector going to the outside world of their laser system. Here from the top of Haleakala is a solar observatory. And this observatory is run by the University of Birmingham in England and looks at the oscillations of the sun. It's a gamma ray observatory. That observatory is run by, I think there's 3 different companies involved with it. They're doing some SDIO type work, some Air Force work. I think Avco is involved there. The reason why they like it here so much is that, practically speaking, as you can see, they're above the clouds. Clouds and the rain and things that go on like that are below. I was surprised to find that when they do their sighting on satellites, they can fire their laser here during the day. And they can run 24 hours a day. Most of their lunar shots are at night, or at least till 9 in the morning. But the satellite shots are completely throughout the day. They can do it. Science City, across the way there. Lure, or the Lure Observatory that we visited, is over there. Those 2 domes. One on the left is the dome for the laser transmitter. One on the right is the receiving dome that they use for shots of the moon. And again, as you can see, one of the reasons they like to be here is that for the most part they're usually above the clouds. We're at the summit above the Haleakala crater. And there's a bunch of little domes down there, I guess, from prior days of various types of volcanoes, clouds in there. People camp down inside that crater. I think it's about 7 miles across. And down below too, there's a parking lot looking into that region.
Oh, this is the place.
There are various trail hikes down through the crater. I noticed there's looks like a trail coming up over there. Directly out ahead. We think that's Mauna Kea over on the big island of Hawaii. And we think over in the clouds over there on the right is Mauna Loa. ocean sitting down in front there in the foreground of the clouds. The trade winds are from the northeast. They come across a mountain over in West Maui, and it gets around 400 to 600 inches of rain per year. It's a lower mountain. The range is 6,000 to 8,000 feet. Here, in both places, actually, the water comes across the ocean and picks up. The air comes across the ocean and picks up a lot of water. It rises as it comes and hits the land, and rises up along the land, and then clouds form, and eventually you make it rain. They talk about the clouds creeping in through the crater, through a couple of gaps in the crater, to equivalently fill the crater with puffy stuff, as they call it. And there you can see it maybe creeping in from the far left. I'm going to try and see what may be down there in trails. I'm not sure what will show up. Standing on the rim of Haleakala crater. It's an extinct volcano looking down into the crater. The crater is about 7 miles long into the distance and about a couple miles wide. Those are cinder cones down in there from some other activities. Cold, it's windy. You can see the cloud coming through the gap over there in the crater. It comes roaring through the gap after the winds come up the mountains. It's desolate. There are a few scrubby things around here, but for the most part, just cinder. There's a camp down there. I'm not sure if it's truly a camp or not down in that region. Looks like it might be a trail going there. And then perhaps down further on down the length of the canyon, the crater, to the far end. Hiked up a little bit higher now. Get just a slightly different perspective. The clouds have moved across, filling the crater a little bit more there. I think the thing that comes across a little bit more right now is the depth going down there. Out pretty much toward the west of Maui, watching the clouds rise up. And there's Science City type area over there. Starting on their way down from this little hill that we're on. And they'll go off to the right. This gives a little bit better look at the steepness of this side of the crater. Different angle too on the cones that are down there, different shadowing on them. Down below, it's hard to see, but there were some clouds right down at the lower right hand of the picture. Maybe like Mount St. Helens, this side of the crater might have blown out. Maybe the lava flowed out of this portion. We're at the visitor center for Haleakala Park on the way down. The reason why I stopped here to take the pictures is to show, if possible, the clouds as they're rising and moving along over there. They've got nowhere, the wind has nowhere to go but up. So as the air rises and cools, condenses out the moisture, and up go the clouds. You just might be able to see the moon. It's just floating along, going up, up, up as it goes along. This is the flight out of
25,000.
Maui.
199. 696. So we have about 2,000.
Some breakers down there.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your continued comfort and safety, your flight crew recommends to keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the entire flight, so the sign may be turned off. In just a few moments, we'll be commencing with our in-flight beverage service. Cocktails and wine are $2, Sprite and Diet Coke.
So
If
look
you
at the
wish for
reef
the
down
beverage,
there.
please kindly indicate so at this time by knowing your service tray. Once again, please keep in mind that a limited flight time is about 15 minutes. All beverages must be collected prior to our landing. For those of you who are ordering cocktails and white wine, which is $2, beer $1, West Jimmy's China liquor change readily available.
The mountains over there are the mountains of West Maui. It's getting toward 10 o'clock in the morning, so they're starting to pick up clouds and from the northeast trade winds, and it'll start to rain over there. Down in the section just to the left of the mountains there and further on out is the Ka'anapali Beach area where we stayed.
Coming into Kona now. It's like lava flows going down to the sea. They're old lava flows. We're in the baggage claim area of Kona. Jean's got her anniversary lei. As you can see, it's a outdoor baggage claim area. This area is around the Kona Surf Resort. A bunch of different shots. lava flows just all over the place here. Everywhere, that's where the islands were formed. You can see all the structure in there as the lava cooled, you know. Aloha! We're at the place of refuge. There's a tiny little bay here, various houses. These are some of the walls at the place of refuge. Black lava walls, it looks like. And further on down is the temple and burial place that you saw before. And then the bay.
Daddy, don't forget about this wall.
Out toward the ocean in this direction. Some sort of pool in the foreground. Maybe it's fresh water. Some various other structures over there. And we've seen there's a conglomeration of things at the bottom of that tree, and I don't know if they're roots or if that was man-made. Right now it looks like it's roots. There's an outrigger canoe. What's nice on that is the grain that you can see in the wood. Looks almost like walnut. I'm not sure that it is. Probably is not. Before, and I wondered about some sort of man-made structure or roots going on, just straight roots going into the soil. We're near the southern tip of the big island. And what you're seeing here is lava flows. What you're also seeing here is not unique. There are flows like this just everywhere. Miles after miles after miles of this stuff going down to the sea. This probably came from Mauna Loa in the past, which is probably 30 miles from here uphill. Just drive and drive. There are trees, there are forests. The underlying thing around here is always lava. This is the caldera of Kilauea, which is the world's most active volcano. Right now the eruption or the activity is about 12 miles away. It's not coming out of this caldera, but it's coming out of the side of the volcano. Further in the background is Mauna Loa, which is the world's second most active volcano. This is the result of an earthquake just off the edge of Kilauea.
This is not at all like an earthquake that was in California, though. An earthquake in California.
As you can see, they closed the road. Because it wasn't a shear type as you get in California, where you get some shear action. The part of the island fell off into the sea, which caused this shaking here.
Almost 4 miles across. That crater out there is called Haleakala. That's why it's called that. That's where it gives the name of the trail. It's another 450 feet deep inside the caldera. That crater is the traditional home of Pele. Who's Pele?
Fire goddess.
The goddess of the volcano. That's where she lives. Right there. And when you get out there, you'll probably see some offerings to her. Lots of people still are very superstitious and respectful of this. And the top of the mountain fell in. And that's how we get the caldera. But when that happened, we think that this was about 1,000 feet deep. But there have been so many eruptions here at the summit at Haleakala since then that it's filled up so it's now only about 450 feet deep. Eventually it'll overflow the top here and make the volcano taller and start over again. Hopefully not today. You can see something else from here. As you look across the floor of the caldera, it looks pretty definite. That's another one. We're going to go look at that. This was a flow from 1974. The eruption was on the other side of the caldera again, and the lava flowed in this direction. Okay, up ahead.
It's about 3 miles from this point over to the other side of the caldera.
Then we watch your step. When you walked over to this edge of it, at the bottom of this cliff, you would see some asphalt with white and yellow paint on it. Because that's where the rest of this road is. It's down on the floor now. It happened in 1974. It's gone. It's all over the edge. There used to be a trail leading right down to over here. You go down to the floor of the caldera and look up,
anything could happen. The plumbing could change underground, and the eruption could stop, or it could become much more dramatic someplace else. We don't know. Things change fast. Came out here because we have a good view of that cinder cone, this kind of reddish orange over there. I had a question about it. The Hawaiian name for that is Pu'upua'i, and it's built up in the side of a big crater called Kilauea Iki. This whole volcano is called Kilauea. In Hawaiian, that essentially means a source of great spewing, which is pretty appropriate. And Iki is a little source of great spewing, Kilauea Iki. On the other volcano has ever done, it shot lava up into the air like a fountain. And it shot the lava up in the air upwards of 1,900 feet into the sky. Could you imagine standing here and watching lava shoot 1,900 feet into the sky? A fountain of glowing, molten lava. And it would fall.
And the area right here is Kilauea crater. And it's actively erupting through a hole in its side, about right here. The lava flow is going down to the sea in this area. It's actually gone all the way down to the sea. There's a road which comes down from over here, Route 130, which is blocked. Over in the background, the far area over there is Mauna Loa, and a few years ago the flow came down right to this area, which is Hilo, and stopped about 4 miles short of the city of Hilo.
Now, yes.
Let's take a look at some steam vents. What there really are is a hole in the ground with steam coming out. And some groundwater has gotten down into the ground. It's gotten heated up and it's coming out as steam. Looks a little bit like debris and things, but actually these are offerings to the goddess Pele. In the background is what some people consider her home. This is the inner caldera called Haleakala at Kilauea. There you can see some yellowy type smoke coming out, and there is sulfury fumes and things on the way in here. It's about a quarter of a mile hike in. Caldera is breaking away a little bit. This volcano is erupting, but it's erupting 12 miles away from here, not erupting at the summit. Type fumes, probably about 400 feet from the top of the big caldera here in Kilauea. And the inner caldera here is another probably 400 feet deep also. I think they said since about 1929 there have been about 17 eruptions or thereabouts here. Went up in the last 10 or 20 years. That's Kilauea Iki. I think that's the one that went up at the fountain 1,900 feet up in the air. We're in an area near the Thurston lava tube, and as you can see, there's a lot of forest here, or jungle might be a better word, ferns, those types of things. Where I was, looking here, is the Thurston lava tube. It's formed by volcanic activity where the lava was flowing, and eventually the roof solidified and kept flowing underneath, and then after it flowed out, there was a hole in the ground. Back in there, but I'd say the lava tube is about 200 yards long and in the range of 10 to 20 feet in diameter, thereabouts. We're at a county park here, county beach called Hakalu'u County Beach. It's about a half-mile north of Kona Surf Hotel. Right ahead there, you walk into the water, about waist deep, and put on your fins and your snorkel, and walk on out. And about where those people are in the middle is where the fish really start getting good. And then you can see the people on the left here are standing on the reef itself, where you can swim over to the reef, and there's also rocks and things down below once you get out to about neck deep. It's at low tide. Some people out there apparently doing some fishing. See the rocks in here. We walked around the tidal pools a little bit. Tiny little fish there you can barely see because of the color of the sand. We did get to do some snorkeling. We got probably 20, 25 slides with George's camera of underwater types of things. All different color fish, all different kinds. Really neat. I'm going to wander around a little bit and show you some of the things they have at the Kona Surf, which is located in Kona on the west coast of the Big Island. We're looking generally westward right now. Our particular room is on the ocean. And down in that section, just where that palm tree is pointing sort of, is the area where in the evening the manta rays come in. There's some lights that are turned on down in that area. That attracts certain types of fish, and the manta rays come in to eat the fish, and everybody watches the manta rays swim around. It's actually too dark really to get a very good picture, but that's where they show up at least. You can see in the background the hills come down to the sea. This is looking more or less in the easterly direction. And we'll look down toward the lobby. See a lot of people wandering around down there. It's hard to tell exactly from here, but many of them Japanese. And then looking through here, this area will go fairly quickly here. This is looking more or less now toward the west and out toward the sea. There's a restaurant downstairs off to the left. And one thing which I did notice that I wanted to get a picture of is the fact there are real live coconuts around here. I'm not sure they're ripe yet, they're a little bit green, but there they be. For better or worse, the one thing you get in this open dining room are birds coming in when you're eating. You come in and get the crumbs and things like that. There's an open courtyard just outside the dining room area, and they've got some Hawaiian artifacts. Looks like some ceremonial masks of some sort. They do not have a swimming or a beach here, but they do have two pools. This is the saltwater pool right down here near the water, and over to the left is where they have the manta rays come in. There's a harbor sitting back here to the right. Last night there was somebody sitting out there in the surf. There's a wedding chapel somewhere back in the area there. When we came in from the airport, we noticed probably along 5 or 6 miles of roadway there were a lot of, well, there's lava everywhere of course, but there were a lot of stones like this, white stones up against the black lava. These don't particularly say anything, that at least that I understand, but along the roadway from the airport there's, like Mickey and Charlie and Philip and Maud and those types of things, and then just all sorts of different sayings that are written with the rocks in the lava, and it's just sort of interesting. One thing that I did want to show here is that our room is located up there where the towel's out on the balcony. Sort of figured I'd mark that off. On the southerly part of the building near the ocean is a garden. It spreads out very nicely. There's a golf course over behind it. We'll wander around through here a little bit. The golf course is way out there behind by those far, far trees. Instead of seeing an ocean view out on this side, most of the people over here have a garden view. It's a nice garden view, very colorful. In the background you might be able to hear the volleyball being beaten around a little bit. We're over in that area. In addition to the garden over here, there's a lot of other things too. Curving paths, trees. Over in this area, you can have some active verbs. You can volley and volleyball. You can swim in the freshwater pool. You can smack a 250-yard tee shot. You can hit forehands, backhands, and volleys, and overheads. Or you can shuffle off to Buffalo. Close to a 10.